Directing your attention now to Friday, May 24th, 2019. Did you receive any text messages from Jennifer's phone on the morning of May 24th?
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask that we pull. Sorry, if you can go up. And actually, I'm just going to, can we zoom out too? Just before we get to there, I want to just button up. Okay, can you, those are difficult to read. This is where we, I think, left off. If we can just continue on to the next page. This is page 2 of folder 1, text message from Jennifer. So this is now page 2. And directing your attention to Wednesday, May 22nd at approximately 4:59 p.m. You indicated okay to come back. She responds, yes, he'll be back about 6:15, 6:20, I'll explain. And you responded, okay. Was that in between when you took Noel and then returned to take Constantine to practice?
Yes.
Now, directing your attention to page 3, you had indicated to the jury that you had received text messages from Jennifer's phone in the morning. And I want to just direct you to the top, Friday, May 24th at 7:14 a.m. Can you just indicate to the jury what she wrote to you?
Yeah, she said, I took Instagram off so he could use it for a car ride. Petros' iPad is in my bathroom. Petros is bringing lax stick he has to bring home.
Okay. And so, first of all, just for the record, what is Instagram?
Well, it's a social media app.
Okay. And who had Instagram?
Petros had it when he was not allowed to have it because he downloaded it.
Okay. And so when she's saying I took Instagram off, she's referring to some tablet or computer that
Yes.
Petros had?
Yes.
Okay. And she's indicating he's allowed to have it now?
Yes.
Okay. And what does this mean? Petros is bringing lax sticks he has to bring home.
Yeah, so Petros played lacrosse, so he was bringing the lacrosse stick to school because I think he was playing after school.
So you received these messages in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
What time did you arrive at 69 Wells Lane that day?
I got there, I think it was close to 11.
And when you say 11 in the morning,
11 in the morning, yeah.
how did you get there?
I drove my car.
Did you make any stops prior to getting to 69 Wells Lane?
Yes.
Where did you stop?
I stopped at the restaurant chain Subway to get sandwiches for everybody.
And when you got to 69 Wells Lane, how did you enter the home?
Like I always do, so I typed in the code to the middle garage and went through the middle bay.
And then through the mudroom door?
Yes, and through the mudroom door.
Did you notice anything unusual when you went into the garage?
When I went into the garage, yes, the Range Rover was still there and the Suburban was gone when she told me she would be taking the Range Rover.
Did you see any blood-like substances in the garage or on the floor?
No.
After you walked in the garage, where did you go?
So I enter through the mudroom and I usually put my stuff, she had these cubbies, and I put my stuff in the cubby and then I go to the kitchen. So I went in the kitchen.
When you got to the kitchen, did you notice anything unusual?
A couple things, yes.
Tell the jury what you noticed.
So first, her purse was on the floor. It was between the mudroom and the kitchen, like the doorway. It was a big, like, structured purse. And I thought it was just a little odd because it was a really nice handbag and it was on the floor. But I didn't look in the bag, so I just kind of figured she took her phone and her wallet with her to New York. And then when I entered the kitchen, she always had a tea, like in a certain cup with her, and a granola bar, and she ate it every morning. It was just part of her routine, and it was there. The tea was still full, and the granola bar was still there. So I thought it was a little strange, but I just figured she was in a rush because I knew she had to get to the city. So I just cleaned the cup of tea and I put the granola bar away.
As you were cleaning the cup of tea, did you notice the paper towel roll on the countertop near the sink?
Yeah, so the paper towel roll was empty, so I went in the pantry to go grab another one and noticed that there were only 2 rolls of paper towels left, which was odd to me because the night before I just put 12 rolls in there. But again, I thought maybe the kids spilled something and they used a lot of paper towels.
Did you do anything else when you were inside the house?
Yeah, so usually I would go in and I would go in the kids' room and like fix up their beds or put away some clothes. And then after I left to pick the kids up from school.
What time did you pick the children up from school?
I think it was around 12:30,
I'm sorry?
like 12:30.
And where did you pick them up?
A New Canaan Country Day.
Which children did you pick up from school?
I picked up Petros, Theodore, Constantine, and Noel because Krishan was going to go home on the bus with a friend and spend the afternoon there because she didn't need to go to the orthodontist.
Where did you take the children once you picked them up?
So we went back to 69 Wells and had lunch.
Did you notice any blood-like substances inside the home while you were having lunch or prior to picking up the children?
No.
Approximately how long did it take to eat lunch?
Like 20-ish minutes. We were pretty fast.
After you were finished eating lunch, what did you do?
The kids went and like got their iPads for the car ride, and I just like cleaned up quickly, put everything away, and then I texted Jennifer because Noelle couldn't find hers, and so I asked. We had like a family iPad, and so I asked if she could take that instead. And then we got in the car and headed to New York.
Did Jennifer respond to your text message?
No,
So what did you decide to do without her having responded?
I just took the iPad. It was a long car ride.
During the car ride, did you try to communicate with Jennifer?
So right before we left the driveway, I texted her our ETA and that we would be at Gloria's. And then I just started driving. And then I texted her when we got to Gloria's.
Did you ever try to call Jennifer?
Yes, after we got to Gloria's around 2:30, and she wasn't there. And I was supposed to meet Jennifer at Gloria's. I wasn't supposed to go to the orthodontist. I was going to be heading back home, but she wasn't there. And so I called her around 4 o'clock.
And when you say Gloria, is just to refresh everyone's memory, Gloria is Jennifer's mom, is that correct?
Yes,
And she resides in Manhattan?
yes,
And she has an apartment in Manhattan?
yes,
And that's where you were supposed to meet Jennifer?
yep.
Had Jennifer replied to either of your text messages
No,
prior to trying to call her?
no, none of them.
If I can just pull those up. So, beginning Friday, May 24th at 12:43 p.m. Hello, we're home and eating. Noelle can't find her iPad. Is it okay to take the iPod? Is it okay to take the iPad? And she does not respond, correct?
Yeah.
And then you texted her again, leaving now, ETA is 2:30. And she does not respond, correct?
Yes.
And at 2:30 exactly, you text, just got to Gloria's. Approximately how long after sending that text message did you try to call Jennifer?
I don't remember. I think it was close to that other text message, will we meet you at the dentist?
Okay. And why did you send that message?
Because I hadn't heard from her. So I didn't know if I was I've been to their orthodontist. It says dentist, but it was orthodontist. I've been to the orthodontist before, so I knew where it was and I've brought them. So maybe I was gonna meet there because maybe her appointments ran longer. I didn't know.
Did you go to the orthodontist with the children?
Yes, I did.
How did you get there?
We took a taxi.
Did Jennifer meet you at the orthodontist?
No, she didn't.
How were you feeling at this time?
Really bad. The second I called Jennifer, it's like my stomach just sank because she never not answered her phone. So I was really hopeful that she just got caught up with meetings and she was going to be there. And so when she wasn't there, I was shocked, but also like, okay, I have the 4 kids in front of me. I don't know what to do. So I just put them into their appointments. And I I just walked outside and I started to call people that could have heard from Jennifer.
Who did you call?
Well, I called my mom, who was trying to calm me down and tell me all these things, that I needed to call the hospitals because maybe she was in a car accident. And then I called her friends.
And based on those conversations, what did you do next?
Based on those conversations, I got the kids, they finished their appointment. I got them in the cab, and I had Noelle bring Jennifer's iPad, or the family iPad, but it was connected to her Google and her Apple ID. And so I decided to bring the kids back to their grandmother's. I went in the cab and I went to her appointment because I was able to pull up her Google Calendar and what appointment she had that day. So I went to one of her appointments.
And were you able to make contact with someone at the appointment? Or at the location of the appointment, I should say?
Yeah, they were able to tell me, I just needed to know if she made it. And they were able to tell me that she didn't.
What did you do next?
I called her friends again, letting them know what was happening. And then I decided to take a cab back to Gloria's. And it was from there that myself and Jennifer's friend Laurel called the police.
Which police department did you call?
New Canaan.
Excuse me. And what information did you give to the police?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
What information did this witness give to the police? Overruled.
Your Honor, I'd like to be heard outside the presence of the jury.
Overruled.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I apologize. You can answer the question.
We told the police that a mother of 5 was missing and that she was in a very contentious divorce. And I knew that he had purchased a gun, and so I was afraid. And they were on it right away.
I don't claim that part.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the portion of the testimony that this witness knew Fotis Dulos purchased a gun is stricken. You may not consider it for any reason.
Did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Dulos that night?
Yes.
What type of communication?
He called me in the evening.
And did you answer the phone?
No,
Why not?
I was afraid.
Did you eventually speak with him?
Yes.
And can you describe that conversation for the jury?
Yeah. So he called me and I called the police because I wasn't sure what to do. And they told me that he's not a suspect, so you should talk to him because I have his kids. And so I decided just to call him back because I didn't want to like anticipate waiting for the phone call. And so I spoke to him and it was a very weird conversation. He asked how the kids were doing. but like didn't talk about Jennifer or really what was going on, just like saying, oh, this is really weird, and immediately went into that he had a supervised visitation that Saturday. I think because it was Memorial Day weekend, so he had a day, it was like a special thing, and that I needed to make sure that I left New York early enough that I got the kids to him to New Canaan for his supervised visit. And he was just very adamant, like, Lauren, you have to make sure that they're there, they need me, you need to bring them to me, like, be early. And then the conversation ended.
And did you also exchange text messages with Mr. Dulos that night?
Yeah.
If I could just pull them up, that's folder 2. And once again, were these screenshots from your phone that you shared with the police department?
Yes.
Okay. And you indicated to Mr. Dulos at 9:49 p.m. on May 24th, hello, no updates so far. Laurel is at the police station right now keeping me updated, but they don't have anything yet. They looked around the house, but it all seemed fine. I'm trying to get the kids to get some sleep. You sent that message, correct?
Yes.
All right, and his phone responded, okay, thank you. Please call me first thing in the morning. And then you responded, yes, I will. If I hear anything tonight, I'll let you know. Is that correct?
Yes.
And he responds, okay. Other than the phone conversation that you had with him on May 24th that you've already described for the jury, was your additional communication with Mr. Dulos done strictly through text message?
I didn't have any at that time other than that evening. I didn't talk to Fotis at all.
Well, I'm referring to these messages here that
Yeah.
we're seeing. This was after your telephone conversation with him, correct?
Yeah, it was only through text messaging.
And if we could just continue on to Friday, May 24th at 11:38 p.m., he asked you, still up, any news? And you responded, no news, they're still searching though, got kids to sleep. Is that correct?
Yep.
Continuing on. And then, I'm sorry, could you scroll just a hair? Okay. Looks like there's part of a message that's cut off. It says, thank you, are they okay? Are they worried? And you responded, they're doing okay. They're worried, but I'm trying to just keep them updated as much as I can to keep them at ease. I'm happy they got to bed. So presumably the children had fallen asleep at this point?
I think I was referring to the night before that they got to sleep.
Okay. And then he responds, okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. And you respond, okay, good night. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when he says see you tomorrow, he's referring to Saturday, May 25th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that was for his visitation?
Yes.
Were you intending on bringing the children for visitation?
No.
Why not?
I was afraid, and I wanted to keep the kids with myself and Gloria.
Now, on Saturday, May 25th at 5:39 a.m., he texts you GM, which I assume stands for good morning.
Yeah.
Lauren, any news? And you replied, called them at 2:30 and 5:30. No news, they just told me that they're still searching. And he replies, I spoke to an officer at 1 a.m. as well. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then at 10 a.m., he texts you GM Lauren, again, driving down to NC, which I assume stands for New Canaan.
Yeah.
And then he continues, spoke to Officer Patton. He had no update. How are the children? And you respond, children are doing well, just ate breakfast. And then he asks, are you guys driving to New Canaan? Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you indicate one way or the other whether or not you were driving to New Canaan?
No.
Directing your attention now to the next page. The title is Fotis New Phone. At some point, had he reached out to you from a different phone number?
Yes.
And you programmed it in as Fotis New Phone?
Yes.
Okay. And so this is him with, I guess, the initial reach out saying, Lauren, it's Fotis, how are the children doing?
Yep.
And you said kids are doing okay, getting ready to sleep. And he responds, okay, any updates? You said no, not yet. Is that right?
Yeah.
Directing your attention now to Sunday, May 26th at 10:59 a.m. Fotis Dulos' new phone texts you, GM Lauren, how are the children? You respond, they're doing fine. And he asks, is Christiane with you or is she still with friends? And you replied, she's with us. Christiane was the child that you had mentioned who had a sleepover, is that correct?
Yeah.
And how did Christiane come to be with you if she was in New Canaan
Jennifer's friends picked her up.
and brought her to Gloria's?
Yeah.
And then he asks, okay, good, somebody brought her to you. And you replied, yes. He asks, is she okay? You respond, all are fine. He says, okay, thanks. Any update on Jennifer? You didn't respond to that message. Why not?
I just didn't want to.
Now, on Sunday, May 26th, did you see Mr. Dulos in New York?
Yes.
Where did you see him in New York?
He came to Gloria's apartment in Manhattan
How did you see him?
through the window. We saw his car pull up.
And were the police called?
Yes, they were.
Which department responded?
I think it was some precinct, but I don't remember.
The New York Police Department?
Yeah, it was the New York Police Department.
And did you speak with the police?
No, I didn't. Well, in the original phone call to the police?
No, I'm referring to the NYPD.
Oh, when they came to the house, I spoke to them.
Okay, in Gloria's apartment?
Yes.
And did Mr. Dulos ever see the children in your presence that day?
No.
Did there come a point in time when you were asked to review photographs of the garage at 69 Wells Lane?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury when that was?
It was, I believe it was that weekend in Gloria's apartment. The New Canaan police, they came to New York to meet with me and show me pictures.
And I'm just going to show, these were pictures that were taken by the police department? Is that right, Ms. Almeida?
Yes.
Okay. So this is, for the record, this is within State's Exhibit 16. Specifically, this is item number 3. What are we looking at here?
So this would be like where the open bay was, where all their sports stuff was. This shelf in particular was where I kept like their camping stuff and Nerf guns and stuff like that.
Okay. And you had indicated that on Tuesday, May 21st, you had cleaned the garage.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything not visible in this photo that was visible to you on the 21st in this location?
Yeah.
Can you tell the jury what that is?
Those were the camping pillows that they had for their trips.
And where would they have been in this photograph?
They would have been next to the sleeping bags on that second shelf.
Okay. So, and just for the record, there is a shelf and there's 2 sleeping bags underneath on the second level, and they would have been next to those?
Yes.
Okay. And if we could pull up item number 4. Oh. What color were the camping pillows?
They were white.
I'm sorry, I interpreted that.
They were white?
Okay. So what are we looking at here in item number 4 on that disc?
So these were just more shelves in that third bay where we kept like their sports equipment and stuff.
And is there anything not visible in this exhibit that you had seen on the 21st?
Yeah, there was a cleaning bucket that I put on that third shelf, so on the bottom.
And was this the cleaning bucket that you described earlier, the red or white bucket?
Yes.
Okay. And directing your attention to the sponge in the photograph, was that on the floor when you cleaned the garage on May 21st, 2019?
No, it was in the cleaning bucket.
Now, did there come a point in time where you and the children were asked to provide DNA samples to the state police as well as fingerprints?
Yes.
Do you recall approximately when that was?
I would say it was like a week or so after we all went to New Canaan. They had an event at their school that day because they didn't go back to school. We stayed in New York this whole time. But we went to New Canaan so they could be a part of this event, and then went to the police station to give our fingerprints and DNA.
And have you continued to be the nanny for the Dulos children since May 24, 2019 to the present day?
Yes.
And I think you indicated yesterday that you still live with them?
Yep.
Are you their primary caregiver?
Gloria is their primary caregiver, their grandmother.
Have you seen Jennifer Dulos since May 23rd, 2019?
No.
Have you heard from Jennifer Dulos since those text messages that we saw earlier on May 24th, 2019?
No.